There are those that just want to be left alone, and those that just won't leave them alone. Which one are you? The Ernest Hancock Show.
This Wallace, he doesn't even have a knighthood, but he fights with passion, and he inspires.
And you wish to charge off and fight as he did, eh? So would I, eh?
Well, maybe it's time.
It is time to survive. You're the 17th Robert Bruce. The 16 before you passed you land and title because they didn't charge in. Call a meeting of the nobles.
But they do nothing but talk.
Rightly so. They're as rich in English titles and lands as they are in Scottish, just as we are. You admire this man, this William Wallace. Uncompromising men are easier to admire. His courage, so does a dog. But it is exactly the ability to compromise that makes a man noble. And understand this. Edward Longshanks is the most ruthless king ever to sit on the throne of England. And none of us, and nothing of Scotland will remain unless we are as ruthless. Give ear to our nobles. Knowing their minds is the key to the throne.
Let me tell you what their minds are. We want to rule you. You know, we can do it together. We can all be noble together, be at the top, and we can rule them. We'll be having, kind of worshiping rule people. Yeah, because we can. The thing it's more complicated than that, and it's not. It's just not. There are those that want to be left alone, and those won't leave them alone. So if we can expand the number of people that just simply wish to be left alone, we win. There's, we'll talk another time about a lot of conversations I had over the weekend. A lot of friends and supporters and people that come by, and good hardcore anarchists and libertarians and so on, and had a lot of good conversations, and a lot of new people got to meet new people. Simon Black from Sovereign Man came by, and his friend Matt and his wife. They flew down from Vegas. We got to talk a lot about a resilient community that they want to build somewhere. This is, it's Galt's Gulch. We've had these discussions over the years. There's been several attempts at this, and sooner or later it's going to happen, and sooner or later there are going to be people that are going to participate in this, and sooner or later we're going to find out how it works. Claire Wolf, I'm going to try and get her on next week. She had a good point when they were doing the Free State Project. She goes, why are you trying to go somewhere and collectivize the people? It's called cyber communities. You can do it now. So you can kind of see Facebook, that's doing it, but that's collective with, Zuckerman's control of that. Google's doing their thing. It's just, it always slips into some kind of a social networking collective thing, but is it coercive? Does it have force? Can you leave? It's all about in the deal, the promise, the contract. Who enforces? How is it enforced? What government's going to allow it to even exist? And will that government be there for how long? Chile had problems. Now they're getting better. They're thinking about, Sovereign Man's thinking about going to Chile. So I'm going, okay. So I'm going, cool. I'm interested. I want to hear. Let's, we'll promote it. Where are we going? So these are the things that, we'll discuss, at length another time. But I want to make sure that you understand I'm looking for a fundamental thing. Am I allowed not to care about whatever it is that you think is so important you're willing to put a gun to my head and take money for? Am I allowed not to care about it? Well, yeah, okay, then we're done. Maybe I'll hear you out. Give me your Sally Struthers spiel on why this kid needs to have whatever the heck, so they can live and eat and thrive and get an education. And somehow I have extra money. I can do that as opposed to giving my grandkids. I'm supposed to love this child here more than my own family. Why? Does it benefit me? Make that argument. How does it benefit me? Is there something? Well, you got to be altruistic. Well, Ayn Rand would see that as a mental illness that you live to serve someone else. I may do it because it can be argued it is in my self-interest. You can make that argument, I'll do it. If it's something, we have my kids, some of them had pen pals for a long time. They send money. I get all kinds of mailings from them having contributed when they were younger in high school and so on. They were moved late at night by some whatever it was, and they got their credit card out or sent money, and then you're on their list. So they're sending, I don't know if they still do it or not. I never even really talked to them about it. I know, that's cool. I didn't discourage it. It's their thing. It's their money. So voluntary contributions and philanthropic efforts like that, for whatever reason, if it's just simply because it makes you feel better, that is your personal benefit. We help a lot of people. When we need things done or something, who needs the money and has the capability of doing this thing, even if it's just, yard work around here to do what you've done. We get to decide. I am so tired of having force upon me to make me do something as if they had a higher moral standard to determine it. And the highest moral standard that they claim is that they have the ability to make you do it. Therefore, somehow might makes right in whatever it is that they want to do. The magazine that's coming is going to be more selective in the articles. You look at the weeks we have, you go to the archives on Freedom's Phoenix, and you can see all of the day's news that we put up. And we went over some today, and that's just like the top half of just today. It's impossible to go over all this stuff. So what happens is, do you really get an idea what's going on? Yeah, we make it with the dispatch. You get a gist of it in just the summary. You don't have to read the whole thing. You get an idea what's going on. After you read a couple of stories, you can see, where the theme's going. As you get older, more experienced, you understand that, just change the names and the places, and the same stuff applies. It's like a metaphor, man. You just go, took the red pill on that, done, don't need to discuss it. Well, what we're doing is we're going to have writers that will go through, say, like Japan, earthquake, tsunami, radiation category. Take all the articles from the week, review them, provide links to them in an original article that will be all about with references to them and what's going on. That PDF will go into an electronic magazine format. It'll be just like a magazine. You flip the pages on your iPad, and you'll be able to link into the stories here and offline and have video and have animation, and we're all kinds of goodies that we're going to do. And you can download the entire thing with the links off so that you can go, like if you get on an airplane, so that you don't have to have internet access. Or you can just get the PDF version of just the original article and it faster download. Or you can download and watch the stuff while you're online again. We get it in ebooks for Kindle. This is going to be what we do with the online e-zine of Freedom's Phoenix. This is going to be our opinion. It's going to be the philosophy that we espouse. It's going to be from the editors that have a concept that we want to share and take all the hundreds of news articles from just the previous week, and we have a weekend edition. And we may do it on Sunday. We talked about this, will be like a Sunday paper. And it may only have a dozen articles, but they'll be from the big boys. Some of the big names that that will have the resource of Freedom's Phoenix to go from, to be able to give you a 300 to 3,000 word article on exactly what their perspective is on that issue. It won't be like the others, where the main site where we just let everybody have their say and it kind of adds to it. We're going to go ahead and start condensing it down and have our input. This is exactly what someone that I respect their opinion on, Butler Schaefer, say, this is what's what on whatever the issue is. You want to know what I think about this is going to be it. This is it. Here it comes. But I had to do this other first. I had to be able to give any and everybody the ability to express themselves so that they can, get it off their chest. They can vent. They can say whatever, and then be allowed to evolve into an autonomous human being that would advocate for leaving everybody else alone too. But I want to be able to timestamp what my vision is. This magazine's going to do it. It's going to be by subscription. Now, fortunately, I have the radio show, and I get to say what I want. But there's a lot of the other editors and people, they want to have a clear message out there of where we're at. So, the first beta edition, we're targeting, it looks like we're going to be able to have out by the end of April. When that happens, we're going to open up subscriptions to it. That magazine and a bunch of other little bitty extra things are going to be by subscription. And we'll have a deal for you guys starting off early and it'll be cheap. I mean, like $50 a year or something like that. But I tell you, you're going to get all kinds of goodies and more tools to use in the freeing of more minds, because that's what we do. Really good at it. I'll talk to you tomorrow with Karen Kwiatkowski. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.